afternoon, music lovers. This is Gene Hamilton welcoming you to the world premiere concert of the Chamber Music Society of Lower Basin Street. In this afternoon's performance, we're to have the rare treat of hearing the works of masters performed under the direction of such outstanding conductors as Maestro Paul Clement Laval with his double woodwind quintet and Dr. Henry Levine with his celebrated Mason-Dixon octet. As soloist of the afternoon, the brilliant young Tennessee leader singer, Mademoiselle Dinah Shore. And as the Society's special guest, that world-renowned percussionist, Professor Arthur J. Singleton, known to the musical world as Zooty. As the house lights are going down, Dr. Henry Wollstonecraft O'Houlihan Levine is making his way to the podium. After the traditional 2 beats to establish the meter, we're to hear Dr. Henry Levine's reading of the subtle shadings and mutations of the classic Muskrat Ramble. As an explanatory footnote to our listeners, the Chamber Music Society of Lower Beacon Street is a small but select group of music lovers which gathers here in Radio City every Sunday afternoon at this time for tea, toast, and jam, with the avowed purpose of perpetuating the art of chamber music, or music played by small but select groups. But Dr. Levine is now bowing to his co-conductor of the afternoon, Maestro Paul Clement Laval. Maestro Paul Laval raises his baton, and the double woodwind quintet brings us A Little Street in Singapore. From my announcer's booth here on the stage of the concert hall, I can see that the members of the Chamber Music Society of Lower Basin Street greatly appreciate the artistic efforts of our small but select musicians. Unfortunately, I cannot hear the music myself, as my booth is completely soundproof. But the spotlight is swung to the side of the stage. We now see, making her entrance, the celebrated young diva, Mademoiselle Dinah Shore, whose concerts have evoked wild enthusiasm and critical acclaim in such world music centers as Waycross, Memphis, and Baton Rouge. Mademoiselle Shore's selection is given the leader listing, number 238, opus 33, number 3, but among music lovers is sometimes known by the more intimate title of Rockin' Chair.
Fetch me that shore sun, for I tan your hide, and get from this cabin. I ain't going nowhere. Just set me here grabbing at the flies round this old rocking chair. My dear old Aunt Harriet, in heaven she be. Send me sweet child for the end of the trouble I see. Oh, rocking chair, get there, Judgment Day is here. I'm chained to my rocking chair. Oh, rocking chair's got me, got my cane by my side. Fetch me that shore sun, for I tan your hide. My dear old Aunt Harriet, up in heaven she be. Send me sweet child for the end of the trouble I see. Oh, rockin' chair gets there, Judgment Day is here. I'm chained for my rocking chair.
One of the marvels of the present-day music world is the amount of color, tonality, and harmony which can be achieved by the quartet, founded and conducted by Professor Arthur J. Zooty Singleton. As is well known, the quartet consists of clarinet, piano, bass, and drums, with Professor Zooty Singleton himself as virtuoso percussionist, actually playing melody on the drums. Since an attempt to describe this artistry in words is unavailing, let us now listen to the quartet in its reading of I Know That You Know. Dr. Henry Levine returns to the podium again, this time to interpret for us the symphonic strains of When My Sugar Walks Down the Street. All the birdies go tweet, tweet, tweet. We have now reached the intermission in this afternoon's concert, and it's our pleasure to introduce as our commentator the famous composer, critic, and musicologist, Dr. Gino Guglielmo Hamilton. Dr. Hamilton.
Thank you, Gene. For my talk this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I had planned a discourse on the era of the Renaissance rubato. However, a letter I have just received caused a change in the subject. This letter is from a young American composer, and I would like to read part of it to you now. The letter says, "In one of America's largest concert halls, I recently heard a leading symphony orchestra play one of Dr. William C. Handy's liturgical oratorios, the St. Louis Blues to be exact, arranged as a Bach fugue. In the first place, I conceive of that as in bad taste, and a dangerous precedent against which we who are true music lovers should protest. If such tactics are allowed to continue, the day will come when we will hear the pure strains of such a classic as Tiger Rag disguised and mutilated in the form of a contrapuntal cantata. I think all of us who are genuine music lovers should protest." End quote. I am glad to receive that letter because it serves as a method of approach to a statement of vast importance, a statement outlining for the first time the trouble with modern music. I make the statement only after years of study, research, and analysis. It is shortly to appear in my new book, Auf schnelle Pferden geht Garaus mit der Dudelsack und Knackwurst, and which is to bear the English subtitle, Drop That Other Shoe, Franklin P. Gallup. Now, the astounding statement I have to make is this. I'm very sorry, Dr. Hamilton, but Mademoiselle Dinah Shore is making her way to the stage. For her encore appearance, Mademoiselle Shore has chosen the enchanting aria Amo Amas Amat, or there'll be some changes made.
Oh, there's a change in the weather, there's a change in the sea. From now on, there'll be a change in me. My walk will be different, my talk and my name. Nothing about me is gonna be the same. I'm gonna change my way of living, and if that ain't enough, changes made today. There'll be some changes made. Oh, there's a change in the weather, change in the sea. From now on there'll be a change in me. My walk will be different, my talk and my name. Nothing about me's gonna be the same. I'll change my way of living. If that ain't enough, then I'll change the way I strut my stuff. 'Cause nobody wants you when you're old and gray. There'll be some changes made today. There'll be some changes made.
Of his next selection, Maestro Laval himself has written the following description. The work is played in condensed rondo form. It begins with a clarinet cadenza in increasing momentum, with repetition in the lower register based on a pedal note, which leads into ostinato. After the first statement of the theme, the first chorus is written as a passacaglia, although it is really in 4/4 time. The second statement of the theme is a variation of the first, based on the subdominant. The coda of the work begins with a canon and continues to a climax using almost all varieties of rhythm. End quote. Now here is Maestro Paul Laval's reading of Runnin' Wild. Professor Zooty Singleton returns for his encore performance, and we're happy to announce the first radio performance of his famous Surprise Variations. The quartet begins the work tutti ensemble. Then, after the first chorus, Professor Singleton motions with his drumstick for a solo from a member of the quartet. Each musician is expecting the solo call, but none knows which will get it. Professor Singleton may call on the same musician several times in succession.
And if the performer is unprepared, that's the surprise. Professor Singleton's surprise variations on the theme of Bugle Call Ray. Dr. Henry Levine now conducts the Mason-Dixon Octet in the austere and familiar classic Blue Room. Again at this same time next Sunday for another concert by the Chamber Music Society of Lower Basin Street. At that time, we will again present the chamber music groups of Maestro Paul Laval and Dr. Henry Levine with Mademoiselle Shore as our soloist.
As our special guests of the afternoon, the world-renowned Clarence Prophet Trio. And, of course, with Dr. Gino Guglielmo Hamilton as our intermission commentator. Gene Hamilton speaking.
This is the National Broadcasting Company, RCA Building, Radio City, New York.